Hello, Mrs. H. This is Andy, and I've been doing a preliminary inspection of your 513. I've started working on it now, and I was first curious about the bobbin area and why you might have had such a severe tangle of thread and when the needle got stuck and everything. And this is the bobbin holder or bobbin case. It's the Apollo style. It's plastic, and when it fits down in here, and there's a couple of gaps that are set at the factory, because to form the stitch, the hook comes around and grabs the needle thread and wraps it around the bobbin case and lets it go, thereby wrapping the needle thread around the bobbin thread to make the lock stitch. And there's a gap over in this area that has to be set, and probably the most important one is right here at the cast off area where it lets the thread go, and then also in this area where the thread has to bypass between the bobbin case and the positioning bracket. And all three of those settings are a little bit off, and I'm not sure why. Sometimes this one is off, but in this case all three are off, so I'm suspecting that that's what caused the thread would hang up here, and then the next wrap would hang up on the first one, and so forth until everything just jammed up. So that is a possibility. So I'll be cleaning the whole area, and I'll have to adjust all those gaps in all these brackets to make sure that that's going to function properly. And I may be getting you, I'll take a closer look at this, and I may get a new bobbin case for you. Up here in the front, everything, or the nose, everything looked pretty normal up here. As far as functionality and so forth, there's just a lot of old varnished oil on the presser bar and the needle bar and the whole area, and that's very, very common. Back behind this pressure regulator wheel, excuse me, and so forth. I usually take a lot of this out and clean it and polish it. The tension unit back in the disc and the spring in there is pretty dirty, and it's pretty stiff operating. So that's another area of attention. The reverse button has been sticking on me a little bit, depending on the thread length or position. It seems to want to kind of get in there and stick and not pop back out like it should. So that's usually a cleaning issue. One of the areas up here at the top, this is the, let's see if I can get in here. Oops. See if I can get in here. I'm going to show you is back behind this wheel. Put a light on here. How well you'll be able to see that. And there you can see some of it. The original brown grease from Singer does get stiff, and that is still in there, but somebody's added a couple other kinds of grease on top of it, including lithium, which is not a good grease for sewing machines. So a lot of these brackets are going to have to be disassembled and cleaned, and get in there and clean out that worm gear where you see the brown grease back in there. And this thumb wheel sits on top of the cam drive, the cam stack, and there's a couple of cams underneath it, and that's how you get the different stitches. And at the bottom of the cam stack is a gear that meshes with that dirty worm gear in there. But what is concerning me is this play. The See if I can. You see that movement, and you can hear the. And I actually think that the main horizontal shaft, that round shaft you see there, that runs end to end from the hand wheel up to the needle bar crank, that's actually loose. So I can move it back and forth. There's play in it, and I have to say, in all the machines I've ever done, I have never had that. And when I look at some of the screws for the bushings and stuff, I see that they're scratched, and like the wrong size screwdriver has been used on them. So I think somebody maybe had that main shaft, horizontal arm shaft, loosened or trying to do something with it, because it's real rare to see any scratches on the head of the screws. And I don't know if the bushings inside are worn out, and that's why that play, but that makes for a pretty noisy and jumpy. I mean, when that shaft moves, the hand wheel moves, the needle bar, the whole front end moves. So I was kind of, when I was running it, I kept getting this weird kind of knocking noise. It took me a while to figure that out. Let's see if I can. So I see that bar moving, that arm shaft moving back and forth. That's not good, so I'll have to figure out what to do with that. That'll be a new one for me. The motor runs strong. I'll take a look at the carbons, but it looks good, and it sounds good, the motor itself. The motor belt is a little iffy, so I'll probably replace the actual motor belt. And the rocker switch is either worn out or very dirty inside, because sometimes it doesn't actually activate the motor and light. Sometimes I have to do it a few times to get the motor and light to come on. But let's see how that, there it goes. And the way the hand wheel is spinning, the whole thing is kind of loose and wobbling back and forth here, like it's not concentric anymore. So there's a couple bushings in there. I don't know if that's just from use. The other parts of the machine look in such good condition that it's weird to me that this is happening. So I'm really going to have to figure that out. What's going on with that? Let me show you the bottom side here. And these gearing down here. These are the hook gears, and they're usually a mated pair of gears here. I can't zoom any more than that. Let me see if I can pull this up here. So what I've got here, this is an original gear, and it looks pretty good. I can tell it's original from the silver metal and the white Lexan type nylon. This is a replacement gear. This gear, original gear, has been replaced, and this one is here. And there's oil all over these gears, which is not a good thing. That's usually what makes the having oil on plastic parts usually deteriorates it. And I've got kind of a waxy, oily substance in the area, and I know it's got a weird smell to it, kind of like oil, but something else. But I'm not even sure that this gear has the same beveled angle as this gear. So I'll be taking a real close look at that, probably changing some gears or both of them. This gear is original, and it matches up with the gear on the main hook shaft back here. This shaft back here that you don't see very well is what ends up over here. Turns the hook here, but there's a on shaft kind of worm gear on there that's been replaced also, and it looks to be in good condition, and it's matching up perfectly with the original Lexan gear, which also appears to be in very good condition. And there's no oil on either of these. They are high and dry, which they should be. There should never be any oil or grease on any plastic part, especially gearing. The lugged cog and belt system are working perfectly, and this belt, I think, is a newer. Maybe a relative replaced this belt, but it looks in very good condition, and I don't believe it is the original belt. And because of what has to take place up top to change that belt, maybe that's how that arm and everything got loose up there. So but there is cleaning, and the timing is off a wee little bit, the hook to needle timing, which I'm not surprised if somebody changed the gears out or the belt out. The timing has to be reset, and if it's not done properly, the timing can be off a little bit, and this timing is off a little bit. The wiring tests good and normal, except for the switch seems dirty or worn. I'll have to take it apart and open it up to find out more, but I think that's I just wanted to look it over and kind of see in my mind what I'm going to have to do. So I'll probably be ordering a new motor belt and new hook gears down there, and I'll start disassembling and cleaning, and then I will know more. So this is an unlisted video on my YouTube channel that people can't see unless they follow the link that I give them. So that's why I'm giving you the link, to let you know I got getting started on this and kind of what my first impressions are. And as I move into it more and have more information, I'll give you a link to other videos or slideshow, something like that. So I'll be emailing you a link to this. That's what you would have followed to get here. I hope you're doing well, and your family and everything. And if you ever have any questions, email or text or call. That's fine. Thanks. Bye-bye.